This video is about my efforts to replace my balancing spools on my Moentrol valves. And I'm just doing the conclusion first, so you can just stop after you see this if you're interested. The rest just follows my efforts. And the whole key is to get a hollow ground screwdriver tip, hardened steel, has this beautiful hex on the end of the shaft. And it's 0.05 inches. I got it from Brownells gunsmithery. And there's the item number, and it's the number 19 with a 0.05 thickness hollow ground tip. And it works very well. You put it in here, and it really locks. And then what's nice is with the hex portion of the shaft, you can just take a nice crescent and put it on there, and this thing will really move it. So this worked every time to remove the valve, except for the one spool that I had really messed up a bunch by doing other methods. And it scored it so much that now I'm gonna have to drill it out. There's an excellent video about how to drill these out, where you just put a hole here, and use narrow nose pliers and then torque it out. But I thought I had something, because the first thing I got was this socket, which is for a drag link, and it was 0.05 inches. And it worked on my first one, which I didn't video. And then the second one that I did video, it just bent it and ruined the spool face some more. So I can't say, don't get one of these, because they just won't withstand it. So this is a good company. It was $13, free shipping. I got it in just a few days, and it comes in a beautiful box. It really is a nice product. So you can try it and see if that works for you. And what follows are my attempts and successes and failures at doing it.
So since the last time when I bent the bit or the slotted screw for the socket, I forgot that on this one right here, I had put WD-40 on a few days in advance. So I soaked this, and it's been about 3 days. And then I found a gunsmithing company that does make a screwdriver, and you can tell that it's a 0.05, and it's maybe even be a little stronger. So 0.05 inches, and we'll see if that works. And it fits in really well. And see if it'll work. Okay, so all I did was torque it out, so it didn't really fix it. So the last one didn't work, but that had been all carved up. So this has been here 9 years. And I did put WD-40 on it a while back to loosen it up. And I don't think this has been messed with in the 9 years. And now I'm using the gunsmith screwdriver, 0.05, and it has a pretty good fit. It'd be nice if it were much wider. And there we go. So see how quickly it scores? It takes very little to make it score. I did turn the water off. Make sure that's really off. Now I guess it's off. And you got to sort of seat it deeply so it won't rip it open. Huh. Maybe the water isn't off. All right, just to make sure that wasn't luck with the last one, I'm going to do this one. Now this one,
Hasn't been touched for 9 years, so it hasn't all scored. Let's see if this one opens. And there it goes. So I think the take-home message is that if it isn't too marked up, you should be able to use this screwdriver that is not tapered with a 0.05 inch gunsmithing screwdriver, and that should work. So now to remove the balancing spool, I'm going to try and drill it out. And if I go too far here, I'd get the threads. So let's see if this will work. Now we're left with 2 holes right into the balancing spool, and I was trying to make sure I didn't get out in the threaded area, which would definitely ruin the whole valve. Well, I have it in, and I saw that great instructional video, and let's see if this works. Doesn't seem to. So the narrow grip pliers would, or narrow nose pliers would torque out. So I got some hex wrenches and I shoved them in further. And then the concern was maybe this metal will just bend. So I have to get something strong, but I think I was able to, so I got to grip it way down inside so that way it won't bend. And it is turning it slightly, and there we go. So that is one way to get it out. So now this is a conclusion to the video, specifically the portion where I drilled out the balancing spool and was able to remove it. So here's the balancing spool. You can tell it's 9 years of deposits and sediment, and it wasn't working well. And so I drilled it, and then I couldn't use the narrow nose pliers because every time I put the narrow nose pliers in, it would torque out when I would turn it. And so then by putting these hex wrenches in, or just any sort of metal rod, then I was able to put a wrench around it and then turn it. This was, it was inside the wall, so at first I started out here a bit, and then it felt like it was gonna shear off the hex wrenches, so I had to get real close. But then that worked on it, and then I was able to unscrew it. Now, one thing I did, though, I knew I didn't want to get towards the outside because I could possibly get the threads. But what you can see here is that I just narrowly missed these threads here. And if I would have scored these threads, it would have scored the threads inside the valve, which would have been a disaster, or maybe have to replace the whole valve. So if you are going to do this, make sure that you're really close to the center like this one, because this was too far out. And then that worked. Now, also what I did was I put some silicone fluid around the outside of it. Maybe that'll prevent the corrosion that caused it to seize in the first place. And I do have to thank Plumber PSA, because without this video that he put out 4 years ago, Plumber PSA right here, I never would have had the idea to try and drill out 2 holes and use that as an ability to turn it.